advised Kilo 3-3 and Kilo 3-4. Your current LZ is too hot. Roger that. Dot, stand by to receive and respond.
Yes, Commander. Coordinates received. Initiate immediate course correction. The Office of Naval Intelligence Sword Base is presently under siege from a Corvette-class Covenant vessel. Due to the sensitive nature of this facility, use of orbital rounds has been, for the moment, prohibited. Regrettably, my efforts to obtain relevant data on enemy forces have been unsuccessful. However, current defensive forces are insufficient. Oni has requested Team Noble's direct intervention to help secure Sword Base.
All right, people. We're stuck with that ship for the time being. Let's focus on the hostile infantry. Give those troopers a hand. Cat 6, you're out here. George, Emil, you're next. Get prepped.
Let's move, Lieutenant.
Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Halo Reach Legendary Solo Player Walkthrough. We are moving on to what is technically Chapter 3 in the game, Oni Sword Base. However, this is the second video because, remember, the first chapter of the game is actually just a cutscene, so that was included in the first video of the walkthrough. So this is Chapter 3, Oni Sword Base. You're going to be thrown right into the action. The Covenant is assaulting the Oni base. So I'll kind of get into what Oni is, for those of you who, once again, don't know too much about the Halo universe. But first things first, what you're going to want to do is kind of stick to the left side here, and that's because there's this big area to provide you for cover, or to provide cover for you, and there's going to be an elite on the far side, but you don't really have to worry about him. Usually what you want to do is you want to take out the little guys first. So if you're in an area where there's a handful of grunts, a couple jackals, and then an elite or two, more than usual, you want to take out the little ones first, and that's because if you try to focus your efforts on the elites, the little guys are just going to tear you to shreds while you're doing that. And believe it or not, when you're playing on legendary mode, even one or two grunts can bring your shields down very quickly. So you see here, this is that elite I was talking about that's hanging out on this side. He'll continue to just hang out here. Again, we're going to stick to our full-fledged technique of using the plasma pistol to drop his shields and then just pop a headshot with the DMR or the pistol or whatever else you prefer. And that's a really easy way to take down the elites. Now there's going to be quite a few enemies in this location. There's going to be a few elites. That's why I'm keeping my plasma pistol as my secondary weapon. You can see there's a whole mess of enemies down there, so you can make use of your grenades. But other than that, it's the same old strategies. You know, there's not a whole lot of strategy per se that you can use in a Halo game. You just have to kind of get used to the combat and how it works. A lot of it though does come from where you choose to position yourself. So notice how, you know, if I was playing on normal difficulty right now, I'd already be done with this firefight. I would have charged in, I would have taken everyone out, it would have been a very quick ordeal. But when you're playing on the higher difficulties like heroic and legendary, you really just can't do that. What you want to do is stick to the outskirts of the map and just be a bit patient. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to pick off the little guys. You'll notice that this elite, he got interested in me, so he rushed me. I equipped the plasma pistol, finished him off. Easy job. And now I'm going to go back once again to taking out the little guys. So anyway, for those of you who are wondering what is Oni and why are we at the Oni Sword Base, so I was trying to think of like an analogy to another game or another fictional universe, and I just couldn't really think of anything. So think of Oni. Oni in this universe, in the Halo universe, Oni is kind of that top secret, super confidential branch of government that operates in the shadows. You know, you don't really know who's in Oni. You don't know what Oni does. In fact, a lot of the civilians think that Oni is probably just a rumor, and that's if they've ever even heard of Oni at all. Oni, you can think of it almost like if there's a conspiracy theory, Oni would be the guys behind it. That's kind of how I think of it. Oni is that secret government sector that just operates from the shadows, and they pull a lot of the strings behind the UNSC. And because of that, you usually don't know who works for Oni. They could be right in front of you and you wouldn't know it. And that's why in the books, and maybe in the games, but in the books and the comic books, the Marines and other people, they'll typically refer to an Oni person as a spook or as a ghost because, like I said, it's just, they seem weird. They seem very disconnected, and they're just odd individuals, I guess you could say. Or at least that's how the general public and the Marines see them. But so that's Oni. And Oni, because they are so important, because they're kind of the puppet masters pulling all these strings, you can bet your ass that they have some very important individuals working for them. And so that's why Oni is very important, and that's why we're rushing here to protect the Oni Sword Base, because we have to make sure that these guys don't get taken down. Now I'll get back to that in a second. Right here I'm going to show you a couple things. First off, you're going to want to pick up that weapon called the Target Ordnance Locator or whatever, and then you're going to see here that I equipped a new ability. So now, no longer in the lower left-hand corner of my screen do you see a sprinting man. Now you see this guy kind of hunched over, doing a weird, doing a weird position. And that's one of the things that Halo Reach did, is they gave you the option to sprint, but they also have given us other options. You can actually equip these modifiers to your Spartan suit and to your armor, and you can change it. So right now I can't sprint because I removed the sprinting ability. Now in the later Halo games like Halo 4 and Halo 5, sprinting is always an option. You do not need an upgrade to sprint. But in this game, that is how it works. And so what I've done is I've given up the sprinting power for the armor lock power, which I'm going to use right here. So basically how it works is you can hold down left bumper and your Spartan will pound his fist to the ground and create a shield around him, a shield around his armor, and then if you actually hold down that shield for long enough, it will create a brief little EMP pulse, but that's typically something I don't use. That's better in like multiplayer and whatnot. But the point is, you are going to see some instances where it does come in handy. If an enemy throws a sticky grenade at you, you can really quickly use the armor lock, block the grenade, and not take any damage. So it's a pretty useful modifier. And it's just another reason to love Halo Reach, because you have these options that you didn't have before. If you want, you can just stick with sprinting the whole time. But if you want, you can also experiment with other armor modifiers. Now right here, they're going to drop off a Warthog. When I'm playing by myself, I always prefer to drive the vehicles, and that is because you do not want the computer to be the driver, and you will see why. You will see exactly why I say that a little later. Now there's going to be a ghost up here. You're just going to kind of swivel around and hope that your turret guy will take him out. When you, that's probably the thing I dislike the most in Halo games, is when you have to rely on the AI in a vehicle. It's very iffy. So you see right there, he killed the ghost pretty quickly, fortunately. Sometimes that's not the case, but I still will say that I always think it's best to be driving. And again, you'll see an example why that is a little later. You usually never want to let the computer drive. It's just not a good idea. And so now with this vehicle here, this is called a Ghost, you get the best of both worlds. You not only get to drive, you also get to shoot. Now, of course, the Ghost, it's going to be a little less powerful. It'll get destroyed fairly quicker than the Warthog, but I prefer to take the Ghost more often than not. Now you're going to approach this large field here, and there's going to be a few enemies in the area. There's going to be a few elites, but before we take them out, once again, we want to focus on taking out the little guys. So with my DMR equipped, I'm going to just aim down my scope and pick off all of these grunts. This weapon is really effective. It has such a long range. Like you can see how far away I'm hitting these guys. It's pretty incredible. So this is one of my favorite weapons in the entire Halo universe. Now you can see the elites are going to come into the picture. Now, like I said, usually what I prefer to do is use my plasma pistol to weaken their shields, and then I take them out with the DMR. Sometimes you just can't really do that. Sometimes they're too far away, and you can't quite get the shot you need to. So that's why I'm going to be a bit more aggressive here. I'm going to branch out. I shot that guy with the plasma pistol and took him out. But you see now this other elite, he's kind of way far away. He's off by that building, so I'm going to be patient, and now I'm going to make my move since he's coming out. And there we go, took him out. Now there's one more elite in the area, and he is on the rooftop of that building off in the distance, and he has a really powerful weapon. I don't remember its name, but it's basically a rocket launcher that shoots plasma grenades, or sticky grenades, for those of you who don't know the Halo terminology, or okay, plasma grenades. Okay, all right, I'm getting all turned around with my words. The point is, those blue grenades that the Covenant throw, those are called sticky grenades, plasma grenades, and they're very fun, but they are very deadly. So anyway, once you start approaching this building, you're going to see there's going to be a cut in the video because I got a checkpoint here. But there's going to be a phantom that drops off a couple more elites, and so you're going to want to take them out before you start focusing on the guy on the rooftop. Now, luckily, these elites are a little less powerful, so these are the jetpack elites, and they actually have the weakest shields out of all the elites, so oftentimes you don't even need the plasma pistol to take them out. Nevertheless, it's still helpful to be carrying around, but you don't necessarily need it for this class of elites. But it's always a safe bet, so that's why I'm using it here. Plus, it'll save you some ammo in your DMR. Now, with those two guys out of the way, I'm going to move up to the rooftop, and I'm going to take out this final elite. Now, you want to do this quickly because, again, he has the plasma grenade launcher, so you don't want to give him too much time. You see right there, I missed the headshot, so fortunately I was able to beat him down. You see I took a little bit of damage in the process, but that's okay because there are med kits downstairs that I can easily pick up. And now you can see that our objective is right there. We just have to activate this. We have to activate this device to turn on the anti-air gun. And then once we do that, that's going to spawn a whole new number of enemies. And there's going to be 2 enemies that spawn inside of ghosts. And so that can become kind of challenging. So here they are. And so one of these ghosts is going to be piloted by a grunt, the other an elite. Now, I don't know how this guy got up here without me noticing, but again, you see how the armor lock ability saved my life right there. Pretty useful. It's a good ability. But anyway, you can shoot the grunt in the ghost if you actually aim well enough. You can get a headshot and kill him without damaging the ghost. However, for the elite in the ghost, you're going to have to probably use different measures. You're going to have to... So one thing you can do is the plasma pistol. Not only will it eliminate an enemy's shields, it will eliminate the shields of a vehicle as well. And so you'll see exactly what I mean by that in a little bit. Now, there are some other things I want to mention story-wise to kind of catch you guys up to speed. It's so much to talk about that I probably wouldn't even be able to finish talking about it in this entire walkthrough, but I'll give you the brief rundown because it is important for this game. So there is a character in the Halo universe named Dr. Halsey, and we're going to see her at the end of this video. So at the end of this level, there's going to be a really cool cutscene that features her. Dr. Halsey is the woman responsible for creating the Spartans, and she is largely responsible for allowing the human race to survive. So when the Human Covenant War began, we did not have Spartans. Dr. Halsey came up with this process to create the Spartans, and that's what ultimately saved humanity. Now, later on, after the Human Covenant War, she'll find herself in trouble because that's when people start to question these wartime ethics and say, what you did, it helped us, but was it moral? So that's a story for another day, specifically Halo 4. But the point is, Dr. Halsey created the Spartans, and the way she did this originally, in the original Spartan programs, she actually abducted children and then replaced them with a clone, and the clone was set to die of natural causes shortly after it was replaced so that the parents wouldn't be suspicious. So she abducted kids with gifted abilities, and she injected, so she trained them like military soldiers from the age of 5 and 6. And then once they reach a certain age, they undergo this medical procedure, which kind of like if you've seen the Captain America film. It's basically like that. They get injected with this stuff that rapidly grows their bones. It makes them stronger. It makes them faster. And that's why the Spartans, they're all like 7 feet tall. These are not average human beings. These are human beings that underwent a medical procedure. And not all of them survived. It was like a big risk to undergo this thing because a lot of the original kids that did this died. But anyway, so Dr. Halsey, all in all, she is the woman responsible for creating the Spartans. And we're going to see her at the end of this level, which is really, really cool. And if you're interested in this at all, one of the books that I highly recommend is called Halo Fall of Reach. It's actually, as you can guess, it's similar to this game here. It's about the Covenant's invasion of Planet Reach. And the whole first quarter of the book actually talks about Master Chief as a kid and when he got abducted and when he started the Spartan process. Now, obviously, if you don't know, Master Chief is the most famous of the Spartans and arguably the best of the Spartans. That's the character that is the face of the Halo franchise. So the book really highlights his upbringing as a Spartan, and it's a great read. Usually I do not read books more than once, but I've read The Fall of Reach 3 times. And I never get tired of it. It's a really good book, and so if any of this sounds interesting to you, I definitely recommend you check it out. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, there's a few ghosts over here, and they will tear you to shreds when you try to pass them, so I'm not actually going to worry about killing all of them. I'm going to kill 2 of them, so you'll notice I shot the pilot out of one of them. The sniper rifle rounds actually do a really good job at destroying vehicles, so that's why I use those bullets to completely destroy the ghost. However, there's still 1 ghost left, and I don't have any sniper rifle ammo left, so this is where I'm going to have to improvise, and I'm just going to speed right past this guy. So sometimes, as in all video games, you have to pick and choose your battles. Not all of the battles are mandatory, and this is the perfect example. So there's going to be quite a few enemies here, and I'm just going to bypass them all. I'm going to speed by on my ghost. Now you're going to see right here, I missed my turn. I was supposed to turn left, but I accidentally went straight, and then I said, oh, whoops, I was supposed to turn right. Oh, nope, that's a dead end off a cliff. I was supposed to go left. So even with all that time spent stalling, I still wasn't killed. Had I not killed those 2 ghosts, that would not have been the case. I would have been obliterated right there. Alright, so right here, you're going to want to hop out of your ghost. There's going to be a few enemies you want to take care of first. Mostly here you're going to want to focus on the grunts. There's going to be 3 elites in this area, and you're going to see that I end up killing 2 of them, but one of them I'm going to let live for the moment anyway. But yeah, so this is another thing I was talking about. Like right now, this is something I brought up in the first video. In the first level, or in the second level of the game, we were basically with the entire Noble team, all 6 of us. In this level, we're fighting alongside Cat, who is Noble 2. And in the next level, you're going to see that we actually fight with Noble 3. His name is June. And so in every level, you kind of get to... oh, so right there, I used the ghost to splatter 2 elites in one go. Very effective. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rush to this side of the map. Now, there's another vehicle right there. I'm just going to pass him, and I'm just going to get to this side of the map as quickly as possible. If you can do that, it'll make your life a lot easier, and you probably will even earn yourself a checkpoint. The checkpoints are very sporadic in this game. They can happen at any time. They sometimes seem very random, and so unfortunately that makes it a little hard for walkthrough purposes, because I can't tell you to rely on checkpoints because they're just not very consistent. But you really shouldn't ever have a problem of getting a checkpoint. The checkpoints are pretty generous in this game. There aren't really any fights that you have to do the whole fight without dying. Usually you'll be able to get numerous checkpoints. And again, you're going to see the video cut here because this is where I get my next checkpoint. And so what we want to do, since there are not very many soldiers left in the area, now we're going to want to focus our efforts on the vehicle down there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way up here. Now if you have a plasma pistol, you can do what I did with the ghost earlier, or you can come and get this rocket launcher. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use the rocket launcher to take out the vehicle. Now, like I said, if you have a plasma pistol, you can do what I did earlier, and you can charge it up, shoot it at the vehicle, and block out the shields, and then you can just throw some grenades at it real quick. But unfortunately, I don't have a plasma pistol, and I'm not really near one, so I wanted to go with the rocket launcher. Now, one important thing here is you don't want to waste the ammo. The rocket launchers are typically pretty sparse, so you got to be careful here. Shoot these wisely. You can see I only have 4 rockets. It should only take 2 to take this thing out. And you're going to see I actually pulled off a pretty impressive shot. I was pretty proud of this one. But first things first, that guy, I want to take him out. I don't know where he was hiding. So you might just have to be a little patient with this. You want the vehicle to get as close as it can. It can be really frustrating. That's probably the thing I hate most about Halo games, is taking out vehicles. It can be very hard, especially on Legendary. But here you see it's time to make my move. So I'm going to hide behind these giant ropes here. These wound up ropes provide good cover. And now I'm going to make my move. So here goes shot 1. Didn't hit him. Here goes shot 2. Now that shot I am very proud of. I hit him on a moving mark, and I thought that was really cool. I was pretty happy with that one. And once you take out the vehicle, our lives become significantly easier. So now we just have to clean up the stragglers. So if you remember, I left a couple enemies alive over here because I was just trying to get to the opposite end of the map as quickly as I could so that I could focus on the vehicle. But now we gotta finish off the job. And you remember that I did leave one of the elites alive. What he's going to do is he's actually going to retreat, because now what's going to happen, since I just activated that beacon, or not beacon, but since I activated that thing, another dropship is going to come, so you should get a checkpoint here. Another dropship's going to come. There you can see the elite. He's running to retreat because now this new dropship's going to come and drop off a bunch of jackals, and so I'm going to have to take them out, and that's why the elite ran away. So here we go. I'm going to equip the DMR and just go to work. Headshot after headshot, let the bodies hit the floor. Pretty good marksmanship, if I do say so myself. And once all of them are dead, there's going to be a couple grunts and then that elite that we have to take care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a sniper rifle to take out the elite. So you can see I'm just wrapping up the grunts in the area. I still have my rocket launcher, but I'm going to ditch that for a second, and I'm going to equip the sniper rifle because I still have to take out that elite. Now, the only reason I used the sniper rifle right there against the grunt is because I don't plan on taking this weapon with me, so I wasn't too concerned about conserving its ammo. So now all that's left is that one elite. If you killed him at the beginning of the area, then you shouldn't have to worry about him now, but like I said, I bypassed him, and boom goes the dynamite. And so now I'm going to move into the next part of the level, and I'm going to choose to take the rocket launcher. Now this is that's completely up to you. The reason I'm choosing the rocket launcher is because a little later on we're going to come across a new type of enemy called hunters, and these guys are really big and they have very heavy armor. So the rocket launchers can do a lot of damage, and the hunters typically they'll stay close together. There's always two of them, and so if you use a rocket launcher, you could potentially hurt both of them in one blast. So that's why I'm going to at least take the rocket launcher with me, and then as soon as I run out of ammo, I'll switch to something else. I think specifically there's a shotgun that I pick up. Now there should be plenty of health packs lying around, so if you did take any damage, take this opportunity now to resupply your health. That was one thing Halo Reach did that caught a lot of people by surprise, is they returned to the health pack method. So in Halo 1, that's how it worked. You had a shield, and if your shield got depleted, your health pack would actually take damage, or your health bar would take damage. In Halo 2 and 3, they got rid of that concept, and they said, we're just going to have shields. We're not going to have this whole health pack thing. In Halo Reach, however, they brought that back. It's a lot better than it is in Halo 1. In Halo 1, you die fast. In Halo Reach, it's not that bad. Alright, so right here you're going to get another Warthog, but this one's not going to have a typical turret on it. This is going to have a Gauss turret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch positions here, and I'm going to use this turret to kill this vehicle off in the distance. And now I'm going to hop out so that I can once again drive the vehicle. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is why you don't want the AI to drive, because look what this asshole's doing. I'm trying to get into the driver's seat, and he's literally driving my vehicle into the water. Like, look what he's doing. How is that? I don't know how this gets programmed into the game, but how is this possibly happening? And I can't get into the vehicle because if I go too far into the water, I might die. So I'm just sitting here like, dude, can you please stop? Finally, he stops. You're damn right, it's mine. I'm gonna hit him just to put him in place for a second. And now I'm gonna progress. Like, I don't know what that guy was thinking, but that's typically why you do not want. That's why you don't want the AI to drive the vehicles. You typically are gonna want to drive. But right here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna park my vehicle. I'm gonna hop into the turret, and I'm gonna start, because there's a lot of vehicles in this area. There are some ghosts. There are some other things that it's better to stay off at a distance and pick them off with the turret. Now, one thing you risk is that this guy's going to hop into the driver's seat, and now you see he's going to drive me into the fight, and that's not what I wanted to do, because now I'm in the middle of things. Now I have a much higher potential of getting killed, and you can see how I'm taking a lot of damage here. So one way around that, if you really want to, you can actually just kill him. In the Halo games, if you kill too many Marines, then they'll start turning on you. But if you just kill 1 or 2, you should be fine. So if you find that being a problem, it sucks to say, but you can just kill the Marine, and then you don't have to worry about him driving the vehicle while you're in the turret. In fact, you're going to see me do that in a little bit, because I thought that there was going to be more Warthog driving, so I killed him, and then it turned out that there wasn't any, and then I felt kind of bad for doing that. But anyway, so you can see he's once again just driving around like a madman. And so I'm just going to say, screw it, I don't need the vehicle, I'm just going to walk. I'd rather get there alive, so that might be the smart choice. And we're getting pretty close to the end of the level. We're just now about to enter the Oni Sword Base, and that's when things will get a little more heated, and then we'll eventually be at the end of the level. Right there, he almost ran me over, and that's when I just lost it. And when he almost ran me over there, I got mad, so I said, you know what, screw this, I'm going to kill this guy. I felt bad, like I said, but I only did that because I thought that the next area was going to have a lot of vehicles in it, and it just turns out that I forgot what was coming, and it turns out you can't even bring the vehicle with you after this point. So in hindsight, I shouldn't have killed the elite, but then again, he probably would have died anyway in the next area, so it's not the end of the world. But one thing you can do to make your life a little easier is you can actually drive the Warthog into this little garage, and you're going to see in a second that you can still use it to fight some of these guys. So if you walk up a bit, a bunch of enemies are going to spawn. So I'm just going to hop back in the turret, and I'm going to go to work. And you can see that I even killed an elite with this thing. So anytime you can, this thing is, sure, if you can use this to kill grunts and jackals, go ahead. But if you can use this thing to kill an elite, that is great. That saves you some ammo, that saves you some effort. So always take that approach if it's an option. And now we're just going to carry up this hill. A couple more enemies are going to spawn, so I'm going to duck back. You're going to see a cut in the video here because I did get a checkpoint at this point in the firefight. So pick up some weapons, and I think right here is where I get the checkpoint. That's where there's the cut in the video, and now I'm just going to pick off the rest of the stragglers. And now what's going to happen is there's going to be 2 elites and 2 hunters in the next area. I'm going to talk you through the best ways to kill the hunters, but before we can do that, we have to focus on the elites. Now, one of the elites, he's actually going to run away. I don't know why, but he decides to run away, so that's at least a little bit of good news for us. It makes your life a little bit easier, but this guy here, he's going to stand his ground, so we got to make sure we take him out. So again, I'm just going to go with the plasma pistol approach. Really simple. And now you can see this second elite off in the distance. I'm going to attempt to kill him because, if I can kill him, then I don't have to worry about him coming back. But you see here, I think what ended up happening is I wasn't able to kill him because he ran away. So I'm like looking out for him. I don't see him, and I don't see him anywhere. I have no idea where he went. But the point is he ran far enough away to where I don't have to worry about him. And so now we can focus on the hunters. So you'll notice I dropped my rocket launcher so that I could pick up this plasma pistol. Now I'm going to go back and make sure to pick up the rocket launcher once again. And I'm just going to use this to kill the or not kill the hunters, but do some damage to the hunters. So once you get down here, that's where the hunters are. And I'm going to show you how to take these guys out. So the easiest way to kill a hunter is to shoot it in the back. That is where it is weakest. That's where it doesn't have any armor. Now the hunters, believe it or not, you can see how big these things are. The hunters are actually made up of a bunch of tiny worms. If you get really close to a hunter, you can see that the hunter itself is actually made up of like a couple thousand worms that are all working in unison to control the whole organism. And that's what a hunter is. Now another useful thing, so you'll notice I ran out of rocket launcher ammo. Another useful way to fight the hunters is with grenades. But again, the best way to kill them is by shooting them in the back. And so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to use Cat to distract the hunter so that I can shoot him in the back. But you see here that Cat ended up running out to join me, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because now we can lure the hunter out with us, and that separates the 2 hunters. So fighting 2 hunters is hard. Fighting 1 hunter isn't too difficult. So if you can lure one of the hunters away from the other, that'll make your life slightly easier. But anyway, now that I'm out of rocket launcher, I'm going to re-equip the shotgun. I'm going to stock up on grenades, and now I'm going to go back to work with the grenades. Those two were not thrown very well, but notice how I'm standing close to this wall here. The hunters, they only have two ways to hurt you. They can hit you, like with their shields, or they can shoot their weapon at you. And their weapon, it can't shoot very frequently. It can only shoot one round every like 10 seconds, so there's not a whole lot of risk there. But anyway, you see what I'm doing here is I'm just letting Kat do most of the work, and luckily she was able to get the hunter turned around. I shot him in the back a few times. End of story. So now we just got to focus on this guy. Again, I'm going to attempt to just shoot him in the back, but before he can do that, I have to get closer. So you can see he's just kind of focused on me right now. So once again, I'm going to try to let Kat distract him. Now there are a couple of enemies in this area besides the hunter, so you don't want to run too far into the map, otherwise you risk getting killed by them. So I'm going to stick to this side here. There aren't any enemies over here that you have to worry about. And look at that, I just earned myself a checkpoint. So like I said, the checkpoints they're pretty random. You would think that I wouldn't earn a checkpoint until I killed all the guys, but that's not the case. And now I'm going to make my move for it. I'm going to get up close to this guy with the shotgun, hit him in the back a few times, and at this point that was enough damage to take him out. So remember, always try to hit them in the back. Grenades work well, explosions work well, but hitting them in the back is the best way to kill them. And now I'm just going to pick off the remaining Covenant. So I finished off the elite, couple grunts, and we should be good to move on. Before I do that, I'm just going to stock up on shotgun ammo. The shotgun, though, to be honest, on legendary mode, the shotgun's not very useful because it's too close range of a weapon. And on legendary, you typically just can't get that close to an enemy and live to tell the tale. So more often than not, I'm going to find shotguns, but I probably won't use them. They can be helpful occasionally, and sometimes they can just be fun to use. But usually you're not going to want to rely on the shotgun. You're going to want to rely on the DMR, the pistol, and the plasma pistol. Those are the three big weapons of the game. Alright, so now at the end of this room, there's going to be, once again, a couple elites, or I think one elite, but a couple grunts. And so now what we're going to do, we are now inside of the Oni Sword Base. We have to fight our way up and stop the aerial assault that is taking place. And so we're just going to have to, traverse a couple levels within this building. Overall, it's actually not too difficult because there are a lot of Marines, and we're also going to regroup with George, another one of the Noble Team Spartans. And so even though the AI are stupid at times, they are pretty effective in firefights. If anything, they do a good job at distracting the enemies, and that can sometimes really help. Now right here I took a bit of damage in that skirmish, so I'm just going to backtrack, and if you didn't see it before, there's a couple health packs right here, so I'm going to go ahead and resupply. But yeah, the AI, sometimes they do stupid things, like earlier the guy driving, but they can be pretty helpful in a fight. They can definitely serve a purpose. And that, right here is a perfect example. You can see all these Marines and the George in this area, and the elite is completely distracted by them, which allowed me to just pop a couple headshots really easily. Same thing goes for these jackals. These jackals aren't really even aware that I'm shooting at them because they're distracted by all of the Marines.
Make sure he gets there. Depend on it.
Alright, so now that they are taken out, you'll get a checkpoint. Again, you're going to see a cut in the video right here. And I'm going to make my way towards this door here. Oh, that was a pretty smooth cut. Alright, and like I said, now all we have to do is we're just going to fight our way upstairs. There's going to be, a couple pockets of enemies here or there. But all in all, it's pretty standard. It's just like the firefights we've been through already. There shouldn't be anything that really throws you for a loop. And yeah, the next level of the game is actually one of my favorites. The next level of the game it takes place at night, and you work with Spartan, or Noble 3. His name is June, and he's like the sniper in the group. And you get to work with him, and it's not necessarily a stealth level, but it has a stealth, it feels like a stealth level, and it's a lot of fun. But anyway, guys, I can't recommend enough. At the beginning, when I was talking about Dr. Halsey and how she is the one that created the Spartans, if any of that sounds interesting to you, I cannot recommend enough that you read the book, The Fall of Reach. It is a fantastic book. I really love it right now. So I'm currently reading through. So what happened is, when I was in high school, that's when I first got into the Halo series, and that's when I first started reading the books. So The Fall of Reach, that's the first book I read. But then, and so I have 6 of the books, and at the time, those were the only 6 books that were out, so I actually had all 6 books. Then once college started, I started to kind of fall off of Halo a bit, especially after Halo 4. A lot of people think that's when the franchise started going downhill. And so the point is, you know, just last year is when I really started to get back into Halo, and I wanted to start reading the books, but this time I was going to read the books in chronological order. And so when I went to check how many books there were, it turns out now there's like 20. There's 20 books, and so I'm starting from the very beginning. So far I've read the 3 Forerunner trilogy books. So if you don't know what the Forerunners are, that's okay. That's not important right now, but just know that those 3 books take place like 100,000 years before any of this that you're seeing now. So those books are like really deep into the Halo lore. They do not contain Spartans. They don't contain Master Chief. Those books, I would say, are for like the big fans that really care about the lore of the franchise. Then I read a book which takes place, I think, 8,000 years before this game, and that's called The Broken Circle, and that actually talks about the elites. So the elites, they're called the Sangheli. It talks about the Sangheli-Sanshayam War, which is something that led to the creation of the Covenant. So that was a pretty good book. And now I'm just getting into like the modern day books. So I said this in the last video, I'm reading a book called The Cole Protocol. Or no, sorry, I'm reading a book called Contact Harvest. The next one is The Cole Protocol, and then the next one after that is The Fall of Reach, and then I'll be back on track to where I stopped after high school. And I'm just going to keep on reading, because there's this one book that I really want to get to that takes place before Halo 5. I won't go too much into detail there, but there's a character in the Halo world now that Nathan Fillion plays, and his name is Buck. And he started off as what's called an ODST, and then he ended up becoming a Spartan. And this book called New Blood, it apparently focuses on his story from deciding to become a Spartan. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one, because I really like Buck. Alright, so we're almost done here. We're at the top floor now. We're exactly where we need to be. In the next area, we're going to see what's taking place. There are a bunch of vehicles assaulting the Sword Base, but before we can do anything about that, we have to kill some of these Covenant. So make sure you do that before just running into the room. And then what I'm going to do, so you can see there is plenty of rocket launcher ammo lying around, but once again, before you can really use it, there are a few elites that we're going to have to take out. So I'm going to go ahead and just ignore the rocket launcher for now, equip the plasma pistol, and go to work doing exactly what we've been doing this entire time. Now a couple more elites are going to drop into the area. These are the guys with the jetpacks and the invisible armor. Now like I said, they have the weakest shields out of all the elites, but they still present a threat, so you got to be careful here. But once you take them out, you're pretty much golden. So there's the first one. Now I just got to take out the second one. Gonna let my shields recharge. And now, here we go. I just gotta find him, because again, remember their shields have camo. But here he is. Take him out. You can see how quickly his shields go down. And now we're just about at the end. So all you have to do is, there's a Phantom in the sky, and there are a few of these vehicles called Banshees. You can actually ignore the Banshees, and you're just gonna focus on the Phantom. And you're going to have to hit this guy with about 4 to 5 rockets. Now, luckily, the rocket launcher has a tracking feature, so if you aim on the Phantom for just a couple seconds, you'll see how it locks on, and you're just going to keep shooting it, and there we go. And once that guy's out of the way, you are done with the level. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. Let me know what you think of this walkthrough so far. I really hope you guys enjoyed as much as I am. And if you want to talk anything Halo, leave a comment down below. I'll see you in the next level.
Beautiful, ain't it? Someone should take a picture. Nice work, by the way.
I aim to please.
5, 6. Get down to the science wing. Dr. Halsey wants a debrief and command saying we're all hers.
Repeat? Sounded like you said Halsey.
I did.
Copy that, on our way. Don't need command to tell me. Been all hers half my life.
I requested your assistance, Commander, and do not need a report on events that occur on my own doorstep. What I do require is a detailed account of your previous engagement. George, it's been too long.
Mom,
What have you done with my armor?
just some additions I've made.
Indeed. Visegrad Relay. Its data center was home to one of my xenoarchaeologists, Professor Laszlo Sorvad. Perhaps you could shed some light on his death.
If he was a civilian male in his mid-60s, he died with a Covenant energy sword through his abdomen.
Elites, then.
They engaged us as well. It was just after we found your scientist's daughter, Mom. She was hiding in the,
Irrelevant. The Elites. Tell me more about them.
3, Zealot class. One got by us. The leader, from the looks of him.
Zealots. You're certain?
Their armor configuration matched.
Shield strength, too.
I gave the order not to pursue. Our primary objective was to get the station's relay back online.
Your primary objective? Commander, are you a puppet or a Spartan?
Ma'am?
There are those at Oni, myself included, who believe the Covenant dispatch elite advance teams to hunt down artifacts of value to their religion. Survivor accounts suggests such teams are small, nimble, and almost always Zealot class. No doubt they came to the station for the abundance of Oni excavation data stored there. And you let them get away.
Data retrieval was not a command directive. Even had we known, we had other more urgent matters to attend to.
Like warning the planet.
Professor Sorvad's final entry in his field notes made reference to a latchkey discovery. Latchkey. Not a word he would use lightly. So let's hope that the data module your Lieutenant Commander stole contains it.
Cat?
Before you ask, I was alerted the moment you attempted to access its contents, as I am with any unauthorized tap. That data is classified Tier 1. I could send you to the brig for interfering with my work.
Maybe you'd like to join her.
I'm sorry?
We're currently under emergency planetary directive, winter contingency. I'm sure you're familiar with the punishment for civilian interference with the Spartan deployment.
Are you threatening me, Commander?
Just making a reading suggestion, ma'am. Let's move, noble team.
Mom?
That will be all, George.